Welcome in to episode number 128 of About the Cards podcast, live tonight on YouTube. As always, with me, host Stephen Loeffler at Junk Wax Twins.
Oh, hi.
Ben Wilson at our trading cards, and I'm Tim Shepler at Big Shep 79. We are a podcast by collectors for collectors, hoping to bring you a smart and insightful podcast discussing trading card collecting. We're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific.
10 Central.
You on YouTube, Periscope, Facebook Live, also on Twitter About the Cards. We're available as a podcast pretty much everywhere you can find one. Check out the website about thecards.wordpress.com. We have a special shout out before we start tonight. What's up, Haley? It's for you hanging out with your pops. So if you're watching tonight, hello,
Hi,
Haley. Thanks for
you are
checking
our
out the show.
Favorite listener.
Yes. Yes, definitely the favorite one in the family, right? So
Absolutely.
We have a very special guest tonight. Greg Gabe at Night Owl Cards is here. Greg, so happy to have you here. We're very blessed to have you on the show tonight. So thank you very much for making some time for us. I know it's late for you, but hanging out with us here for a little bit to talk about baseball cards.
It is not late for me. As the sign says, Night Owl Cards.
There we go.
I'm up at night. So
nice.
Yep.
So give us a little background. So just fill us in on your collecting history. Like, how did you start collecting? Who do you collect? All that kind of fun stuff.
Well, I started collecting back in the 70s. 1975 in particular, a pretty good year to start collecting baseball cards. Just, like every kid at that time, went down to the drugstore, the corner store, bought packs of wax, and did that for about 10 years, just, trying to complete sets, but not having enough money to complete sets. And then Fleer and Donruss came along and tried to tackle all that along with Topps. And I've been a Dodger fan since actually 74 was the first year I actually saw cards. My mom brought some cards home from the store. And the first card I ever pulled out of a pack was Tommy John from 1974 Topps. And
Great card.
yeah, I became a Dodgers fan at that point. Basically helped that the Dodgers were in the World Series around that time for a few years, so that helped. And I've collected the Dodgers ever since, and I've tried to complete sets ever since, although I don't do a lot of newer sets very much anymore. I took a break back when everybody else did around 94, and didn't collect at all till 2004, 2005. I kind of got back into the hobby. A guy at work collected, and he told me about a pawn shop downtown that sold cards. And I went there and saw some 75s, and I said, well, why don't I try completing that set? And I started completing that and the 74 set, and then I started finding newer cards and started a blog, and here we are.
Nice. Who's your favorite player growing up as a kid?
My favorite player is Ron Say, starting third baseman for the Dodgers in the 70s.
Yeah.
Penguin, yep. And he hit the first grand slam I ever saw in the playoffs against the Phillies in 1977. I remember in 75, I actually traded for that card, and I traded Hank Aaron for that card. I had the Hank Aaron card, and I wanted Ron Say so bad that I traded my buddy Hank Aaron, and that was probably not the right call, but it doesn't matter because I have both of the cards now, so who cares?
Yeah. I was just talking to somebody about that the other day. The 50s, right? You would trade Mantle for Mays, Schneider. I mean, you're on the wrong side of it, right? You're trading a Schneider or Mays because if Mantle was your guy, and there's a lot of people that probably ended up on the wrong side of a lot of trades throughout the years, but it didn't matter because that was your guy. I mean, yeah. I would have traded whatever in the late 80s to get McGuire or Canseco, even in hindsight. I'm sure I probably traded my fair share of Griffey's and other more desirable cards. That's what's fun about the hobby, though.
Yeah. I didn't think twice. I remember I didn't think twice about it. I knew who Aaron was. He had broken the record the year before, but it didn't matter. I just wanted that card.
Nice. So tell us a little. You said you mentioned the blog. Tell us a little about the blog. How did that like start, and and how long? Just give us a little history on that.
Well, that started in September of 2008. Hey, Steph, you sent me that. Wow, you found that quick. Yeah, there they are. All the Mickey Hatchers. I just started looking up baseball card blogs, or whether that such a thing existed. I didn't even really know, and I came across Ben Henry's baseball card blog, aptly named, and I got into that. I started reading that avidly every day, and I probably found a couple other blogs from there. Probably Cardboard Junkie and Stale Gum were around then. And, it was basically people writing about how much they love cards. And, I'm a writer by profession and I love cards. I thought, well, this is like meant for me. So I just started and in September 2008, I got home from work. I worked the late shift. So I got home from work around 2 a.m, wrote something up at 3 a.m, and posted it. And that was my first blog post, and I've been going ever since. It's been 12 years, and still love it. Still have a good time. Still have ideas and things that I want to post in the future, and I don't see it stopping.
Well, and I want to thank both you, Card Junkie, James Anama, Select, Stale Gum naturally, because that's kind of what forced my hand into, one, both reading your posts, but also following you guys on Twitter, and then, they follow me back. What do? Crap. Send him things. Give him all of the Dodger cards. It's his. And that's kind of where I got my start in late 2000s.
Yeah, I mean, I always knew how generous the people are in this hobby, but it didn't really hit me in the face until I started writing the blog, and it's just been amazing, the stuff that I've received, with no strings attached. Nobody's expecting me to send stuff back. They're just thanking me for writing something on the internet, and just crazy stuff that I never would have expected. I got a 1956 Topps Yogi Berra the other day, last week. It's just somebody said, I noticed, you're getting down to the few cards you need left to complete that set. And, here's one of them.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
To that point,
It's a sharp card too.
Yeah.
We talk on the show all the time about the fact that, life is finite, right? And we don't own these cards. We're just, temporary caretakers. Right. And as our time grows near, what do you do with them? I had a good friend here locally. I've mentioned this on the podcast before, where his dad collected coins, and he died, and he gave his son the coins, and he sold them all and turned them into complete sets, dating back. I think last time I talked to him, it was like back to 64, all the way up through current. And he's like, my kids don't want these, so I'm only doing this until the day the good Lord comes calling. And at some point, finding the right home for a lot of this stuff. I don't need it. I don't want it. It doesn't fit into my collection. If I can get it to you, and it improves your collection, I mean, that's, like you said, the generosity. And so much of that is, how do we get this stuff to the right collector and pass it forward while they can still appreciate it.
Right. Well, that's one of the reasons why I hope to be blogging for a long time. And hopefully there's other people blogging right along with me, because like you say, I have a daughter, and she's not interested in cards at all. And, it's not going to anybody in my family, I don't think. I have a nephew who's sort of into cards, but who knows if that'll last.
Sure.
And, hopefully, when it's time for me to say goodbye to some of these cards, I can just, send them off to a fellow blogger or a few bloggers that I know will appreciate them. And, you know, that's the easiest thing because, you know, I never like selling cards. I don't really want to do that. If I have to, if I need to, I will. But I'd rather just send them to somebody who wants them and can appreciate them. And, you know, basically, you know, give back the way a lot of people have given back to me. So it's hopefully how things will go.
Yeah, no, I can second that. I mean, doing the show, you know, before even doing the show, like a lot of, you know, I always have people like reaching out and you know, you'd have special like, you know, random acts of kindness or things would show up. But ever since we started doing the show, the stuff that people have sent to all of us, and just also to like the notes, just saying, hey, like, thank you. You know, it's crazy. You know, again, you're putting a post up, something you're thinking about that day, and you put it out there, and okay, hopefully people like it, and then you get that response, and like we're just three chuckleheads doing a show, and you know, it's people respond back to, and it really does it. I love doing it, and you know, and giving back. So I mean, that's really great. You know, when I got back into this in 2012, you know, I found I kind of ran into Steph early on a little bit, and then you know, people started recommending blogs to check out. And yours was you know, on that list, so it's really great to see, you know, how we all kind of started the same way. We just started doing something we wanted to do, and it blossomed something bigger and something that we've been doing for a while now. So
right. Sometimes I find myself trying to think, you know, why people are doing this. You know, what is it that makes people want to do this, to send these cards to this stranger? You know, just kind of out of the goodness of their heart. And, you know, I think what you're saying is we have something in common, is we have an enthusiasm for cards and an enthusiasm for the hobby that comes out, that people can see, that they see that appreciation for cards and the hobby. And they appreciate that. And they like seeing that enthusiasm as well. And I think that's one of the reasons why you guys connect, and my blog connects, and other people's blogs connect.
Yeah. Well, and to that, I mean, I got to think that your history in sports writing helps write the blogs, but also, you know, I mean, anybody can register for a Blogspot or a WordPress or a YouTube account for that matter. Look, we did it. But the content that you push out definitely helps, and gives people one, something to comment on, but also a thought on. It's not just about the cards. It's more on, hey, here's a story of the player. Hey, here's a humorous article that I wrote about what to send and not to send during Christmas time. That was kind of appropriate game of the year. But things like that definitely help, I would say.
Yeah, you know, writing is my profession. You know, it's something I've done since I was little. I wrote, you know, what I thought were books as a kid, and, you know, tried to write a novel on loose leaf paper and a pen when I was a kid. And I've always enjoyed writing. And I went into the newspaper business to write, and I did that for a long time. And then I became an editor, and I didn't do a lot of writing as much as I wanted to or used to. And that was another reason why I started the blog, because it allowed me to write every day on anything I wanted. And, you know, that basically allowed me to, what I need to do is write, and I need to do that almost every day. So the blog is perfect for that.
Oh, good.
No, isn't it true that you were in a mass-produced card, but in the background of it?
Yes, I am.
So
it was a minor league team. Used to be the Niagara Falls Rapids. Their first year was in 1989, and I covered the team that year. I was basically the beat writer for that team. And they produced, you know, one of those team sets. Yep, there it is. That's it. Well, you probably can't see it that small, but there's a guy standing in one of the windows. Yeah, where you're pointing right there. That's me, right there.
That's cool.
I'm talking to the scorekeeper, who did not know how to keep score.
Oh,
And he was always asking me questions. Is that a pass ball or a wild pitch? It's like, man, I can't believe this is the guy that they're relying on.
yeah.
But
it's better that he kept score at a baseball game and wasn't like changing tires over at the Charles Schwab, over at the tire joint. It's like, hey.
Well, maybe he was good at changing tires. He wasn't good at scorekeeping. I know that.
Yeah. Were there that year? Were there any names that came through that you got to see?
It wasn't the most famous name from that team was John Doherty, who was a pitcher for the Tigers in the mid '90s.
Okay,
he had a couple of decent years for them, but he wasn't around for a long time.
I remember him because he was teammates with a guy named Kurt Knudsen, who pitched for the Tigers for a real short period of time.
Okay, yeah.
In the early 90s, yeah.
Yeah, Doherty was a great guy. He was always up to be interviewed. He was a fun-loving guy. Always a nice guy to be around. I love talking to him. So it was great that he actually made it.
Yeah, that's very cool.
But most of the other guys that did make it, they were only around for a couple seasons, if that.
What about through the hometown team, the Pirates? Was it?
They were the hometown of the Tigers at the time.
Watertown Pirates?
Oh, the Watertown team? Yeah. They were the Pirates, and then they became the Indians. I covered them when they were the Indians. So who went? Sean Casey went through there. I've talked to him. Some other early 90s Indians that I can't remember right now. Herbert Perry. Herbert Perry was one of them.
Herbert Perry, I remember him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there were several of them.
What's it like just being a beat reporter for a minor league team? What does that kind of entail?
Well, I mean, it's basically like being a beat reporter for a major league team, except obviously there's less people. I mean, sometimes you're the only one. I was the only person who covered the team besides the TV station. And it's like that for a lot of minor league teams. If they're not, well, probably not so much now because bigger cities host minor league teams than they did back then. But
right.
But you're basically the guy, and usually minor league, especially at that level, that was short season Class A, so that was basically players' first stops in pro ball, and a lot of them are very happy to talk to, and you get to know them pretty well. They're not worn down by the process yet, and they're not big stars or anything. If you have any issues with covering the team, it usually comes from the manager. But most of the managers that I've talked to have been pretty good. Most have been pretty cooperative. I can't really remember any controversial stories that I wrote that year for Niagara Falls. Watertown, maybe a couple. The manager at that time was Ted Kubiak, who he had a major league career with the A's in the 70s. He played on those 3 World Series teams, although he was just like a bench player. He kind of had a couple run-ins with us, but nothing major. So I mean, for an average day, you just go down to the ballpark and maybe an hour before the game, just if you have any feature stories or anything that you need to do, you go down there and talk to the players while they're at batting practice or whatever. And then you just, take your seat in the press box and watch the game. And then you go down to the locker room, and locker rooms then were not great. They're tiny, and, they're all packed. Everybody's all packed in there, and it's dark in there. You're trying to find people and weave in and out of people. But it was, it's fun. I mean, you get to know the guys, and, for somebody who watched baseball as a kid for so many years, and you thought of all those players as superstars and untouchable, I mean, it was great to actually be able to see them on an everyday basis, and just chat with them, and they were just regular people like everybody else, and it was fun. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and anytime I get to talk to a major leaguer, I've done that a few times over the years. It's always great fun, and it's basically like being a kid again.
Yeah, that's cool. Very cool. Well, there's a couple questions we've asked most people in the last 6 or 8 months have been on the show. Just as we're in this wild time in our hobby, what is your current sense of the state of the hobby? Where we are right now. I mean, it's insane. I believe, right?
It is. It's crazy. I don't think I've ever experienced anything like it. Even the so-called junk wax era. I mean, this is completely different, I think. As many people as were buying cards at that time, back in the late 80s and early 90s, you never had a problem with getting cards, ever. They were always available. Anytime I would go down to the store in 1989 to get cards, and I bought a ton of cards in 1989, they were all there. And everybody was buying a ton of cards then. But, just to see that all the retail shelves are just barren, it's crazy. I mean, I said on Twitter, I don't even think that people even know what they're buying. They're just buying it, and they have the faintest idea what it is or anything.
Well, this is the thing I was going to ask, because I know I've actually been pretty close through there in Mansville because of some genealogy stuff, family history. And you think that as reclusive as you guys are in the part of New York that you are, you'd think that you wouldn't have too much competition, but sounds like you're saying the opposite.
Yep. I mean, our Targets and Walmarts are just like everybody else's. There's nothing there. There was a period there in the late summer where I think when Allen and Ginter came out, where there was actually a few packs I found. That's the only time since June that I found anything on any of the shelves. And
do you think it's because you were collecting during the junk wax era? Do you think that this is a second wave of it, a different version of it? Do you think we're going to look back in 10 years and feel some people are going to feel foolish for putting so much money behind the products that are out today?
I do. I mean, it's definitely a different version of it, but I mean, there are similarities, and I think the similarities are going to be the stuff that people are buying now it's going to be devalued quite a bit of it anyway, and it's going to people are going to look back on it and say, why the heck did we buy all that? And a lot of it's going to be worthless. But yeah, I mean, it's basically junk wax part 2, junk wax era part 2, but with some changes. Obviously there's some obvious differences, but a lot of it's familiar. It seems familiar to me anyway.
Yeah, I think Ben made a good analogy a few months back, correlating that 2017 when Aaron Judge made his debut and hit the scenes was very similar to the 1987 season. In card collecting, right? And you started getting all these new young players in, and then, so currently would be sitting in 1990 as next year would be the 91 where we saw I think the biggest explosion in cards, where Score had like a 900 card set, 91, 92 Score, they were 900 card sets, base sets, that came out. So, where do you think it leads us to down the road in the next 5 to 10 years?
I have no idea. I don't know.
893, by the way.
What's that?
I said 893 cards, by the way, for 91.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's hard to envision. I'm not very good at forecasting stuff like that. I mean, it's hard for me to see a lot of the people that are in the hobby now still being in the hobby in 5 years. I don't see them lasting very long, to tell you the truth. I don't know what cards are going to look like. I have no idea, or what sets are going to look like. I don't know. But I mean, that's a good analogy. That's a good correlation. 2017 to 1987. That's perfect, I think. And maybe it'll last till 2022 or 2023, and then things will start falling off, just like it did back then.
And then that's when we all start to really collect, because remember,
Yeah.
the stuff you can't find today is like,
Yeah.
you can't find a pack of 95 tops to save your life.
Yes.
It's crazy. It feels like cards didn't exist from 94 to like the early 2000s. There was like a 6 to 8 year window where you feel like that stuff didn't exist.
Yeah, when you look at an economic bubble outside of the crash of the stock market in 29, outside of the crash of the real estate market in 2008, that basically overnight changed the outlook of the economic landscape. Usually when a bubble bursts, it takes a while. It takes a couple of quarters. It takes a couple of years even. And, I think we saw that 1990, 1991 window, 12 to 18 month window of that was the bursting of the junk wax era bubble. We just didn't necessarily know it while we were living in it. And it took a couple of years. And the strike in 94 was the epitome of the icing on the cake. Right. We're facing labor strife and baseball on the horizon, potentially the NFL. There's all kinds of different things that would just a lot of uncertainty, and the pandemic doesn't help. It throws an unforeseen variable in all types of different forecasting models, whether you're talking about microeconomics, macro, you're talking about sports, and obviously the one-offs, which would be the hobby-related things. Who knows? I honestly think right now the bubble is beginning to burst, but it's still going to take a while for us to see the residuals. And much like evaluating a presidential term or terms, it usually takes 10 to 15 years afterward for us to look back and go, okay, Bush, we can finally start to look at what he did while he was in office and whether or not it was good or not. And I think same thing, we're going to look 10 years from now, 2030, and go back and go, okay, what was 2017 through 2023? What was it? And what are the long-term effects on us financially? What's the status of the hobby? Are all the manufacturers still there? Are there still exclusive licenses? Have those now been shared? Who knows? It'll be fascinating 10 years from now, God willing, that we can, we're all still around and we can look back and enjoy the debate and the discussion.
Right.
And the blog posts.
Yes. Well, I mean, there are a lot of variables, loads of variables between, now and whenever that bubble bursts. But, you mentioned labor strife, and, obviously if there's a time period where teams aren't playing, there's a strike or whatever, I think without a doubt that's going to hurt the hobby. Definitely. That'll probably be the bursting of the bubble, whether the bubble is ready to burst or not.
Well, most of the economic impact, and there's no way to quantify this. There's no data that we can put together and I can lend you for your next blog post. I mean, there's no way for us to know, but I would imagine a lot of the major money that we're seeing in the hobby right now is as you mentioned, it's probably not here for the long haul. Mm-hmm. It's on the outskirts. It's the fringe. It's something where I can get in right now. I can make some money and I can get out with no long-term commitment. Right. And I really don't care what's left in the wake. I mean, we saw that. I've mentioned this before too with Toys R Us. You had investors that came in, they made a lot of money, they accrued a lot of debt, and they closed up shop. I don't care. Mm-hmm. I went home rich. My belly was full. And the rest of us out there, whether we were employees of the company or we were just consumers that grew up with Jeffrey, we can't go there and buy toys that are for our kids anymore. It doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. But a lot of fat cats, got in, they got out, and hey, on to the next investment, and what they left in the wake, they don't care about. They don't care that there were real people that had jobs that were supporting their families. And I think you're seeing a lot of that fringe money, whether it's international money or if it's just people that are, hey, I can go to Target and clear a shelf, flip it for 2X, and I don't care what that means beyond the fact that my checkbook got a little fatter right now.
Right. It's a money making thing, and it's their entertainment value. This is entertaining to me right now at this very moment. This is what's entertaining to me, and in a year it may not be entertaining to them anymore, and they'll be gone.
A lot of excess money.
Scoop all that up.
Yeah, a lot of excess money, a lot of disposable income that's not being used in our gas tanks and at the Starbucks and at the movie theaters, and a lot of extra unemployment benefits for a lot of folks, stimulus. I mean, now there's a rumored another potential that we might all be getting $600 potentially. It's not as much, but we also have had 8-9 months to really understand what our finances are looking like during this window. Is there going to be another spike, and how big will that spike be if everybody gets another $600 dropped in their lap? I mean, that's enough to buy what, a half a box of a blaster right now.
Mm-hmm.
You get one Topps Fire Blaster for $500. Greg, we always ask everybody on the show, if you could only own one card you currently own, and that's the only card you're going to have, what card would it be and why?
Well, I've mentioned this before. It's the 75 Topps Ron Say card. I don't know how much. How much is that worth? What is that? A $2 card?
Maybe. Yeah.
That's what's awesome. That's what the question's for. It's the most valuable to you, and most of us would look and go, okay. I mean, that's what's awesome about the hobby. Your most valuable desire.
Well, I mean, most of what I do in the hobby is based on my interests as a kid, and I've never grown up when it comes to the hobby. I collect the way I collected as a kid in a lot of ways, and that was my favorite player, my favorite card as a kid. I loved that card so much.
Real quick though, looking at the card, he's wearing a left-handed batting helmet, but batting right. Am I looking at that? Or does he have a right ear flap? Or his hair is so awesome?
Did they do ear flaps back in the 70s? That looks like his hair.
Could be his hair. I could be wrong.
I don't think he has a flap.
That just
that hair is, by the way, amazing.
It's his hair, yeah.
And
that's what everybody looked. That's what all ball players looked like at that time, and it's fantastic.
I have a question for you, Greg, because I'm 41 years old, and Ben, you're right there too, correct? Yeah. I was looking through some. My brother-in-law gave me his card collection, and it's all that all the stuff from when we were kids, and he's the same age. But I came across some of these. You have Jerry Reese and Don Sutton, and some of these older pitchers in the mid to late 80s. That were at 35, 40 years old, and they look like they're 55 or 60. So my question is, was it so hard growing up in the 50s and the 40s and the 1940s, but by the time you hit 40 years old in the late 80s, you looked 20 years older? Or it's crazy to me that I don't feel like I look as old as some of these guys at the same age.
I think it's all your perspective on when you grew up, because I think that same way from players from the 60s, and that was before I collected. I look at them and somebody who was like 28, it looks like they're 45, and I think it's basically you looking at an unfamiliar time period. It's an older period for you, and I'm not really sure what it is. Why you think they look so old. But I feel that way, but it's from cards from the 60s.
Yeah, I mean,
Jerry Reese looked like he was 76 years old drawing an AARP check.
Well,
like my grandpa.
He was. I mean, was he albino or prematurely gray? I can't remember exactly.
I don't know, but 8 years old. There's like, no way is this dude a pitcher? How is he not? I was like, oh, he's the manager of the White Sox.
He looks like the dude off of Major League that had all this smear and the stick on hat, and he was like, so. No,
it's just the dude that was the diabetes guy, whatever that guy's name is,
Wilfred Brimley.
There you go. like when he was doing all those diabetes commercials, he literally was the same age as Paul Rudd is right now. Paul Rudd's like a Greek god. And Brimley's looking like he's 20 years into a Social Security draw.
Yeah, it's camera tricks. Nice.
Yeah, look at that. There's no way that it's like, what's he pitching, warm-ups
Senior
for?
Pro Baseball League.
Yeah.
He's commented on my blog, Jerry Royce.
Oh, nice.
So-
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. No
Yeah.
offense, Mr. Royce. You're a hell of a pick.
I mean, yeah, he was around for a long time, but he just, I was
Yeah.
like, you look at some of these guys. Oh yeah, Ron Washington. Yeah,
Ron
thanks.
Washington.
Well-
I mean, we can't only.
We know why Wash was a little
Yeah, Wash had a hard life, so to speak.
by choice.
Yes.
Yeah, no, Greg, we appreciate the time tonight hanging out with us for like half hour. It's amazing conversation. We're gonna have you on again,
Sure.
but we appreciate
Anytime.
the time and love the blog. And I think it's a spot where a lot of us that are in the hobby now, and we started out, getting reacquainted and reading great stories. And so we appreciate all the work and efforts you put in over the years, and continue to see us,
Thanks.
see if we can see more. And let us know, where can we follow you? Where can we get all your good information?
The blog is nightowlcards.blogspot.com, and I'm on Twitter at nightowlcards, and that's it. I don't do Facebook. I don't do Instagram. That's where you can find me, and I'm blogging 5 or 6 times a week, and I'm on Twitter whenever I feel like it. But you'll get something out of me a couple times a day, maybe.
Awesome.
On Twitter, and that's where you can find me.
All right, Greg. Well, thank you so much, and you have a wonderful weekend, and we appreciate it, and have a good New Year and holidays.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for your show.
Awesome.
And again, thanks for the start. For a lot of us.
Outstanding. I mean, I've been reading that for a long time, and it's great to and I think there was somebody that I think Bean said in the comments, it's great to put a face with the name and the writer behind the great blog. So we really appreciate coming to hang out. I think he's also going to be on John Newman's show this Friday, coming out on Sports Card Nation. So check him out there as well. Let's get into it. The week that was last week's releases. Topps Living Week 143. We had card 367, Jorge Posada, catcher of the New York Yankees, sold just over 2,200. And card 368, Teoscar Hernandez, the outfielder of the Blue Jays, sold 17 and 48. So he did not finish last, but he was 49 cards ahead of Merrill Kelly, who sold the least amount so far. These looking cards. I mean, I like the Hernandez logo, that Blue Jays hat and stuff he's wearing in it, but card didn't do so well. But pretty decent numbers for Posada, about what we've seen. We also had 1920 Upper Deck Chronology Hockey Volume 2, 2020 Panini Draft Picks Collegiate Basketball, which I know Steph and Angela found a bunch of hangers at her local shopping.
26 packs.
Yeah, 26 packs. And Steph had some fun opening some of that. We also had 2020 Panini Prizm Football Drop. We're going to talk a lot about that later. 2020 Topps Allen and Ginter Chrome Baseball, and 2020 Panini Flawless Baseball all came out. Hot off the presses, this week's new releases. Topps Living Week 144. We had card 369, Michael Conforto, outfielder of the New York Mets. And card 370, Willie Castro, rookie shortstop, Detroit Tigers, dropped today. And I think he's on the All-Star Cup team. So one of the last rookies I think we're going to see coming out this year. As we go into 2021, he'll be one of the final 2020 rookies. Somebody said that did not look like Conforto, and I pulled up some other photos. That's like spot on. So I didn't agree with their thought that it did not look like Conforto. So,
Hey, Shep, check your messages.
okay. So I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? I mean, right? I mean, they're both good, pretty decent looking cards. I mean, not going to, you have an all-star and a rookie, but
It's maybe not the best crop. I do like that they threw the background in, kind of like the 53s did. But it kind of looks like a young Bartolo. Maybe not the best crop photo of him. The rookie's nice enough. I mean, it's a Tiger, but so be it.
yeah, I mean, the detail in the helmet with the stadium, though, that was pretty cool. That's why I thought it was pretty cool in the sky.
Right.
Talking about this last week with Mike Summer on the show, it's tough for me to get excited about something like this, and not to say I was a die-hard Topps Living collector, but I think the longer this set goes on, I think it's easier to just say, you know what, I'm good. I'll wait till something better comes along next week, and it'd be fascinating to know where the price point is, or the print run needs to be for Topps to break even. Because I think as long as these are churning out close to 2,000, 1,500 copies a week, I think this is going to go forever and ever and ever. It's just going to be.
I'm happy. Yeah. I don't care as long as they, 15 to 2,000 cards a week. I'm happy because I still like hoping there's going to be a rookie every week to add, and it kind of gives you a nice little portfolio of that year's rookie class. And you get to go back and look and see who was there. And then you can go, oh, man, remember, he was hot and he wasn't, but now it's flip-flopped. And you never know. So it's just a fun look back. And I wish that they would double, some of the guys that were stars for multiple teams, to start bringing those guys back in so you can have a superstar or a bigger name. I don't think we've seen Mike Schmidt, have we?
Right? There's so many names, though. That's the thing, is there's so many names that they've not done dating back to the late 1800s. You can grab some of the Delahantes and so many of the other guys that are from that era.
I personally just don't think that anybody that played before Babe Ruth would really catch on, and that would be what's up? Cobb, maybe, yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that those guys would be as sought after as even somebody from, like a
70s.
Yeah, 60s or 70s, studded, Yankees team, right? Or somebody that was on this one of the 70s Dodgers teams or the A's teams, right? Like, if you had a Bert Campaneris, I think would do better just based on Will Clark, I think, he doesn't have a card as Andrew tells us here. So
let me ask you guys this. What if Topps, because most of us end up, we all get the daily emails from Topps, and we're all checking in on whether it's Project 2020, Living, Throwback Thursday, online exclusives, whatever. What if they did moving forward, and we don't know how many are in the queue, how many that she's already drawn, but what if they did a vote, much like they do for flagship, card number 1. Here's 20 names, 30 names of guys that we're considering doing coming up, 50 names. And, you can vote once a week and kind of get the collectors involved in who we might see. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
It's too smart.
It's not top.
It's too common sense.
Yeah.
Why would you want to bother with what the collectors want versus what your breakers want to have out, or what the hottest. Let's see how many Bryce Harper and Derek Jeter cards we can put out, and Juan Soto cards we can put out of the same guys over and over and over and over again. So, we look at all those Throwback Thursday things, or those. Remember that set, Ben, a couple years ago? Like it was like the same 5 guys every other week. Like there was like an 8-guy mixture, and they just kept moving them around, and it was like
17? I think it was 2018. One of the years for Throwback Thursday, maybe it was 2018. I kept an Excel spreadsheet of all the guys' names and all the teams, and it was like 6 to 8 teams. The 6 to 8 teams we would all write down on a piece of paper to compare, and we'd all be accurate. And it was the same, 10, 12 names. It was Harper, Ohtani, Trout, Kershaw would be in there, and it's just like, hey, do you guys need us here? There was no Giants, I don't think, at all, up to the point where I stopped keeping track late in the year. There were like 1 Royals. There was like 5 or 6 teams that were severely either not represented at all. And it's like, why not just make the same 6 guys every week and do a subscription-based deal where I can just get my Trouts and Harpers on a new-looking card this week, and you send them to me, and I send you my money. It was ridiculous.
I think that one of the 3 of us could do a really good job running their social media account.
Why not commission us? We will do the weekly polls to determine who your Topps Living people should be in the upcoming weeks. We will take care of that.
Real quick, speaking of, I want to give a quick shout out. This week I added a new young gun. This guy Ramus Dolan.
Rasmus Dahlin.
There we go, Rasmus Dahlin. I'm learning. But
So what is
one of my favorite companies out there.
what is he as far as
He
for
was the
people
number
that
one
might not?
overall pick. He plays for the Buffalo Sabres, which they have a cool uniforms. Yeah.
So
High,
is he more of a upper
high
tier,
point
mid tier, lower
defenseman.
tier?
Mid to high. Defenseman, so he's not going to be scoring 100 points, but put up 40 this year. 36 assists, strong D, and as I was telling Shep beforehand, if I'm not mistaken, he played through the U, the Sweden under 20 whatnots.
Yeah. So anyway, just a quick shout out. Somebody might be doing it right. All right, let's hop on. 2020 Topps Chrome baseball drop today. $195 a box. The pre-order was $54. 14 packs per box, 7 cards per pack, 1 autograph, 14 inserts, and/or parallel, so 1 a box. It's a 400-card base set. With 400 cards, the Stadium Club Chrome is bigger than the normal release. It's 100 additional cards, including current players and retired stars. For players with Chrome inserts in 2020 Stadium Club, remember, because they have those Chrome insert cards, they will use a different image. Well, supposedly. So far, Will Clark and Darryl Strawberry have the same image as they do in Chrome inserts from Stadium Club, and then Chrome Stadium Club Chrome that was released. Oh, and especially what's really fun about this is that both of the Darryl Strawberries are numbered 113.
Both of the Will Clarks are numbered. Yeah, the Clarks are numbered 200.
And the only difference is that the Stadium Chrome logo is on opposite sides. So in 6 months from now, a year from now, no one's going to remember that, and they're going to get confused. It reminds me of, I was talking, Steph, was it like 2018, the vending boxes from Bowman Chrome. They had the vending boxes. Well, those had a whole different checklist than regular Bowman Chrome, but they don't tell you that it's Bowman Chrome vending box. So, yeah, that was fun. There's on-card autographs. You're going to get select Beam Team cards and Power Zone cards that have on-card autographs. Also, the Lone Star Signature Series is in there. There's inserts the Beam Team, Explorers of the Zone, and Power Zone. Yeah, so there's the 2 strawberries. And, I don't even know which one's which. So
something interesting on the Power Zone inserts from Chrome.
Yeah.
Mark McGuire in the original Stadium Club had a Power Zone insert as a Cardinal, and with the Chrome he now has one as an A. So I didn't look at the checklist. It's cool on the surface. It's not as cool when I want to try to buy all the refractors, and my wife's looking at me with seriously. But I wonder if might be something if somebody wants to put it together and tag us in. Are there any other people like McGuire on the checklist that played for multiple teams where they changed the team in the Chrome version? I probably should have done my homework before the show.
That's okay. We also have 2020 Bowman Draft Jumbo and Super Jumbo that dropped today. They have a Jumbo now, but they're just calling it Hobby, even though it's a Jumbo box. It's $380 a box. Their pre-order price was $237, so not that big of a jump. Markup on that for 12 packs per box, 32 cards per pack. You're going to get 3 autos, 24 refractors, 2 20 on 20s, 1 applied pressure, 4 franchise futures, 4 glimpse of greatness, and a box topper with the possibility of an autograph. The Super Jumbo is going to run you $540 with a pre-order price of $355. 5 packs per box, 120 cards per pack, 5 autographs and 40 refractors. It's a 200-card base set. It's the first cards of the June draft picks in the Major League uniforms. The base kit set consists entirely of draft picks and some other prospects. Obviously, Jason Dominguez is in it. And some cards also will have some image variations. They also are going to have the Under Armour game autographs, and those are numbered out of 199. The top of the class box topper, they're obviously oversized Chrome cards that will cover the 2020 top picks. And some draft picks to look for in here. Number 1 pick, Spencer Torkelson of the Tigers. You have Heston Hierston of the Orioles. Max Meyer of I think he's a Marlin. He's a Lacey of the Royals, and those are the top 4 picks. The number 5 pick was kept out, Austin Martin, so he's probably going to be in 2021 Bowman. Usually, they've kept out the 2nd overall pick, but I think because his name isn't as big as Austin Martin. Austin Martin was one of those big time college players. I think they think he has like maybe a little more run, so he will be in 2021 Bowman. But then the 6th pick, Emerson Hancock. Nick Gonzalez was the 7th pick. Robert Hassel was the 8th pick. Zach Dean of the Rockies was the 9th. Those are awesome. Those are the top 9 picks. They're all in there. So there's a really good Twitter handle if you want to follow about prospects out right now. At Bowman First has put together some really good data going back on a lot of the first Bowman Chrome cards of players and some information about the players themselves. And also at Prospects 1500 on Twitter. Really some in-depth, not scouting, but in scouting information and ideas on some players. So if you want to play that speculation game with prospects, there's some good resources out there to let you know who's in what products and what they might be able to do for you in the future. I used to be a big draft guy. Not these prices. I mean, I'll go pick them up later. I'll pick up a couple single first Chrome cards, stash away. But I was looking during the show, Torkelson first Chrome right now, going for $40 to $65 on eBay, sold sales. And I'm like, huh? Like that's typically maybe a $15 for the number 1 overall pick, especially a power hitting number 1 overall pick. Rushman was like $12 or $18 all day long. I mean, these prices eventually have to come down a little bit, right?
Yeah. And we've said this before that we saw it with Finest. You started to see the SPs start selling at a decent clip, right? So it's like, are we starting to see this return of base cards, short prints, really starting to be more of a focus of certain collectors and start to have, I mean, seeing base rookie cards sell for a lot more money than they had been 5 years ago and starting to see an interest, a value. I really want to value this card because it might be something special someday. It might be that next Trout. And the issue I have, to your point, Tim, is, I saw it with Tyler Soderstrom with Bowman First Draft or Draft First or whatever the hell they're calling it. At first day of release, it was selling for $20 a pop. And I'm like, this guy is years away from playing. At least with a Lewis Robert, he signed a multi-year deal at the major league level. And he's going to be, in the White Sox lineup in the 2020 year. I get that, right? Guerrero the year before, Acuna the year before, so on and so forth, right? I'm okay with flagship base being this much. But draft and Chrome, I get autographs. I get that. But the base cards selling at stupid prices for a guy that, I can't. I understand it. I just can't wrap my head around the why. Why would people do that?
I need to apologize because I'm the one that's been collect the base rookie cards and then first Bowman Chrome cards of people the last 3 to 5 years because that's what I was doing because I wasn't going after the autographs because I thought they were way overpriced. You never knew what you're going to get. But hey, if you could plop down $5 to $15 on a card and the guy busts ends up being a $2 card, okay, so you took a $13 loss, right? That doesn't hurt like a $100 loss.
Right.
You can take like 8 $13 losses. So you get 8 bites of the apple versus 1. So,
well, and I was looking at the checklist itself, and I was like, okay, so there are 5 of my team, 5 Chrome of my team, 1 insert, and 3 autos. Looking at what, $40, 50 maybe, just for a base version of the auto. Why am I going to go spend the pricing here?
$320.
$380.
Yeah,
for a jumbo.
Yeah,
or $320 for regular.
Yeah, I didn't buy any Bowman Chrome this year. I just went to Sport Lots. I don't know, like 2 months after released, and I bought every single card for the Giants and the Royals, and that included a Bobby Witt. And I think I paid like $13, and that's because there was only 1 Witt, and the guy wanted like $6 or something for it. And I'm like, well, that's whatever. And he had all the other cards I needed, so I'm like, whatever, that's fine. I'll buy it. Yeah, like we're not here to tell people how to spend their money. That's fine, but we're trying to give you some background on maybe like better ways or avenues to go down and not be the one that opens it, but be the one that maybe buys it secondary. But even then, now it's like we're going to talk about this later here coming up with Prizm football. We're going to do some math, and I'm going to have Ben, who's get your calculator and your abacus ready because I have some questions for you about math coming up. But make sure you check out Ryan Cracknell's articles on Beckett.com/news for more details on all these releases and some updates, the photo variations, and Bowman Chrome, Bowman Draft will have up there as well. What's brewing next week's releases? 2021 Upper Deck Synergy Hockey, 2020 Panini Immaculate Football, 1920 Hoops Premium Stock Hobby Hybrid Basketball. I think they could add some more words in there. 2020 Leaf Draft Baseball. And the reason we don't normally talk Leaf releases, but I want to see what theirs is compared to Bowman Draft. And in the previous week, we had Prizm Collegiate Draft come out. So I want to kind of see what the differences are. And then 2020 Topps Transcendent Collection was listed to come out today, but now it's some kind of a to be determined December release date. So save your shekels for that $25,000 product. I know, Ben, you're waiting to buy your 2 cases today. So we'll see what happens there.
Okay, how many more days can you push something back? There's not that many days left. I mean, we're already looking at the 10th, and you have to look at the 24th, the 25th, and the 31st as dark days. And this isn't like it's a $100 release. Come on, man.
Yeah. Well, I know. I think Bean was going to buy like 5 or 6 cases and hand them out for Christmas.
Oh yeah.
We really hope that gets released soon.
Well, when you're a baller like that, I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, when are we going to see? When are we going to see Ben Baller Transcendent Chrome, acetate, draft picks, parallels,
die cut lasers, fire,
signature series,
downtown edition.
Somebody was tweeting about the show about certain things. Can't wait for opening day Chrome and Big League Chrome and Topps Chrome ass and. Yeah, I love that.
He's like clearly authentic Chrome. He goes, I don't even know if they can do that, but they'll find a way.
See-through Chrome, double dipped.
I still love that
It'll be tremendous.
That I had to explain to the Topps execs that Topps Archive Signature Series, while being a meh product, guys, look at the initials. I'm just saying.
Well, I like how he followed up. He's like, yeah, then we can all just call it Ass Chrome.
Yeah,
like,
baby. Like
we don't really.
Well, I want some Ass Chrome.
I was literally entering in my database before the show Ginter Chrome, or Allen and Ginter Chrome and Stadium Club Chrome, and it just felt so weird, like this. And it's beautiful. I way overspent on a Allen and Ginter Chrome refractor out of 5 of McGuire last night, the red one. I threw an offer at a guy, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll take that." I'm just like, "Whoops."
By the way, if you find your 5, buy it. I've been a big supporter. If you can afford to buy, grab it. Before we get in the show tonight, I got to talk about 2 PC items I picked up this week. So
beautiful card, but yeah, I had to have a very uncomfortable conversation with Heather before the show about. So I did this thing, sweetheart.
We don't have Christmas this year.
But the thing is, it's like, putting it in the database and writing Allen and Ginter Chrome Mini, Stadium Club Chrome is just foreign. And I know we were just joking about opening day and Big League Chrome and whatnot, but you have to think that that's on the horizon. And I'm sorry, dude. I mean,
well, so would you rather this have been much like the early 2000s where they had Stadium Club Chrome as an extra insert into regular Stadium Club?
That now.
They do.
But a larger release?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's just like we've talked about that before, like and I know we know where Tim stands with Gallery and Fire and stuff, but it's like, why not incorporate those with Archives, another dying brand that bastardizes the Heritage brand.
Topps Chronicles, baby.
Yeah.
And your autographs can be the Topps Archive signatures. They can be an encased hit.
There you go.
I really hope with all of these brand new ideas, if Tops, if you're out there listening to this episode and you take anything away, take the Tops Living idea about allowing us to vote.
Don't take Tops Chronicles together.
Okay. Everything thereafter, stop. These are just jokes. We're just having fun.
Everybody just turned off their computers and their radios. Infield our chatter, our hobby talk section of the show. There's an update on the PWE tracking. So last week I shared a video on Twitter that touted how you could track PWEs with a sticker that you can get from the post office. This is from multiple sources, reliable sources. This is untrue. You might get lucky once or twice. Gypsy Oak said it best. This is false. These stickers can only be used on packages. If you put them on PWEs, your customer will be charged postage due for priority shipping. I hope you all aren't sending hundreds of these out right now. So a $60 stamp cent becomes like a $7.50 or $7.50 due when it gets to the person. So I had someone order. I haven't used them. I'll do whatever. I'll hold on to them. But one of those things, do not use them. Set them aside. They're not for this. So
just pay the extra postage ahead of time.
Yeah. Toy Drive, our buddy Ryan at Card Collector 2. For the third year in a row, I'm proud to announce our annual Toy Drive. I'm beyond proud of what this community has helped to grow this into and excited for this year. I'll post some giveaway items soon, but any retweet or support means the world. I will share the link. There's some home signed jerseys from his buddy Mike Kafka, some hobby boxes and photos from Panini America, and some cool stuff that he added in. This is just a sample. Give back to someone who could use some positivity in the year while having a shot at something cool. He's also got some custom CC2 Miami Vice hoodies exclusively for this Toy Drive giveaway. Plus plenty of Panini swag, a few extra pictures from last year's. He shared some extra pictures from the drop-off. So I believe he's got a wish list set up on Amazon. Super easy to go on.
Already going over well.
Yeah. You pay for it, ship it there. They'll take care of everything else. I think that's awesome. He did a wonderful job last year. He's got some cool stuff to give away. And it's just a way to give back. And at the end of the year, which I think everybody tries to do at some point. And if you're looking for a real easy way to do it, drop a few bucks. There you go. He does. I like that. I love what he gives back. I mean, we had him on the show. He's a young kid. He bought a shop. And then this pandemic thing hits, and he's still rolling, and he's doing really well. And it's great. It's great to see. So I like that he's breathing some young life into the hobby, and getting everybody excited about stuff. So 2020 Allen and Ginter. 2021 Allen and Ginter. Tops tweeted out, you know what to do. Tag your favorite actors, musicians, celebrities, podcasters, and more in the comments to nominate them for 2021 Tops Allen and Ginter. Besides us, who would you want to see in Allen and Ginter?
I think it's time that we see our great Uncle Rich and Dr. Jim Beckett and other hobby icons. Like, I know we throw that word around a little loosely on this show because we've got some great friends who we've all idolized for many years. But outside of us, why not take? I think the podcaster, content creator would be a great subset, but why not have 10 or 12 true hobby icons in the hobby that I think we all would love?
What I see, those back pages, put like Jameson. What Project 2020 artist gets in? Because we know one of them will be in.
Why not do all 20 of them? As an insert set, not necessarily as base, but do a 20-card insert set, because I can tell you this much. All right, how many of them right now, just off the top of your head, can you picture their face? Obviously, Blake Jameson's a given, but how many of the rest of them do you know their face? Like right now, if they walk down the street, you'd be like, "Oh, that's Blake Jameson." Oh, do you know Sophia Chang? Do you know Jacob Rochester? Do you know Matt Taylor? I know F. Dot today because I was looking at his page because I was going to invite him on the show. Do you know what Old Man Allen looks like?
Old Man Anal?
Yeah, think about it. I mean, how many of those do you know off the top of your head?
None.
I think it'd be a great idea to do an insert set of those because it's also double back, bring it full circle. It's an easy way to promote the end of a program going into next year, and I think it would
have
drive
a short print with the top living artist.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It was a couple years ago.
So how about not do the podcasters in the base set and the Project 2020 guys in the insert set, and we'll call it a day. And now everybody gets a card.
Steph has a list of people here.
I do. Traded Facts.
Who's Dave Filoni?
Current driving force behind Star Wars. So Mandalorian, the animated shows. I think executive producer Star Wars Rebels, former supervising director of Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Nice.
Hideo Kojima behind a lot of the really weird Sony games, so like Metal Gear Solid and the Walking Simulator, if you will.
Oh, nice.
Kraken Wax for his Ginter charity breaks, Dr. Beckett naturally. Pearl Jam I put just because I couldn't tag specifically Eddie Vedder. A huge fan of the Cubs. And then Nintendo's driving force. Creator of Zelda, Pikmin, Mario, Star Fox, Donkey Kong, just you name it, he's essentially the creator or executive VP behind it. So,
have you seen that Netflix documentary about video games?
It's great. I loved it.
Yeah, it was awesome.
6 episodes.
Yeah. No, I think you guys named a lot of people I'd love to see in there.
Death Stranding, one was kind of not Walking Simulator.
It's really hard. I mean, there are so many great ones you could have in there. I always like when they do. Like they always have like a mix, like you have golfers and TV personalities. I would love to see Lester Holt, and the reason being is he's from Sacramento. He's the Dateline guy, right? He's also their lead anchor now. I think that would be a cool card to have. It's kind of a random guy, but he's from Sacramento, and it was somebody I would love to chase down. So
over under
Mel Kiper.
Over under 75%. Dr. Fauci.
Oh yeah, he's in. Oh, he's in 100%. Yeah. He's gonna have in his relic. His relic will be a mask.
Oh, of course. Naturally.
Right. That would be amazing. So, yeah. Korean Cardboard says the He-Man doc on Netflix is awesome. Is that the one that like TV or Toys That Made Us? The Toys That Made Us and the Movies That Made Us are amazing series on Netflix if you've not done it and you grew up in the 80s. So, mind-blowing. Anyway, tweet of the year was put out already. Said done. The year is over. No more tweets will beat this one. At the Mike Summer, our buddy said slabs are the cosmetic surgery of the sports card world. It may look pretty on the outside, but it doesn't change what's on the inside. You just paid thousands of dollars extra for it.
The one you were thinking of was High Score.
High Score. Right? Did Mike Summer nail it?
No, there's a better tweet, but that was a great one. There is a better tweet that I saw, and I thought, why did I never think of this tweet before? And I think it was our hockey collector buddy, Real DFG. We're talking about collectors and investors and all the other stuff that usually ends up on my timeline. And his response was simply, there are no collectors, only Zool. And I'm like, bow down. Great Ghostbusters reference.
Yeah, I was, and then then I saw a TikTok today where he finished a wrestling set, and he was like, "Ooh, yeah, brother," and I was like, "Nope, I need to rethink this friendship, like now." Don't watch it. But no, I that like hits it on. It's like it really is. It's I don't want to talk about grading tonight, so that's as far as I want to get on the grading. There we go. There are no collectors, only Zool. Huge pull bar friend Andrew at Bitey Side Breakers This is why I love Panini America. National Treasures always been good to us. We all have that one release that might be odd or not everybody's cup of tea that's really good to us. It's a beautiful 32 patch booklet from last night's break. I mean, dude, there's Verlander, Soto, Votto, Lindor, the DeGrom. You have Arenado, Freddie Freeman, Matt Chapman, Guerrero Jr., Tatis. I mean, you name them, they're in here. Altuve, Devers, Bellinger, Rizzo, Bryant, Kershaw, Trout, Mookie Betts, Judge, Harper, Yelich.
Well, and I like that, outside of the occasional, in Trout's case or Mookie Betts' case, they try to add some color to the patches for something huge and momentous like this. You have the two colors there. There's slightly a pinstripe, sure. You got like a seam there. It looks like maybe that's part of his name lettering. But the one that I liked was Lindor's here. You got right where the button seam is.
Yeah. The DeGrom's nice too. You're getting all the colors there of the Mets jersey.
I want to say it's Tim Salmon or Garrett Anderson's, some early 2000s Angels guy. But I have a relic card just like this, and it's sweet.
Yeah.
With the buttonhole.
No, that's pretty awesome. So, Andrew's great. He's been a great supporter of the show. And it's just a beautiful card. Just super cool to see something that big pulled by someone we know. It's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
He also sent us some background information on the 2020 Allen and Ginter Chromos. He was opening it. He said, hey, just a heads up, Topps didn't label the refractors of the cards. The only way we can tell is by having it next to each other, and you can see that the refractors are a bit thicker. Thanks, Topps.
Yeah. I
We're not
emailed
tell you if it's a refractor or not. It's all shiny. But, unless you got two of them, you're not going to know. Good luck trying to buy them on the secondary market.
I emailed a guy last night because he had the refractor McGuire, and I'm like, is this really the refractor? And he goes, yes, it is. And I'm like, how do you know? He goes, because if you put them side by side, you can tell the difference. And he goes, this is thicker. And I'm like, all right, cool. Andrew told me what to look out for, and this guy nailed it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like when President Bartlett's looking for the Chinese immigrant to say shibboleth. And so the guy knew what it was. And we went back and forth, and we're on like the Topps Holiday from 2018, embossed versus base, high tech. High tech is the most infamous dumb product because it's so easy to write, bubbles or circles or whatever on the back. And why they don't do this crap just to help us. It's ridiculous.
Well, and especially when the back is usually just legalese of, hey, this card is guaranteed to have such and such. So I have one in my hand here. The enclosed player one game used material and autograph are guaranteed by company. Why not just tack on, hey, this is the Super Bubbles underwater dish parallel.
You know what I miss from the back of cards really quick as we're talking about this? Remember the back of Donruss cards? It always had like how long the player was signed through and like how they got to that current team. That's how I learned like all these crazy facts about players. Like I knew that, Jeff Bag, we all know the Bagwell for Larry Anderson deal, but it told you like on the back of the card, like, oh, Larry Anderson became a Red Sox because he was traded for Jeff Bagwell. You look back at the time, it doesn't mean anything. And then like a couple years later, you're like, oh, that was a really bad trade. It's just like I liked finding out how one player got from one team to another, and I think that's where it spawned from. As I'm looking through all these old cards recently, let's bring back some of that fun stuff. I don't care about their Twitter handle. Like I can go to twitter.com, I can go www.twitter.com, and then I can search the player and see if he's on Twitter or not.
Well, and it may not even be relevant in 2 years. They might have a case where they need to delete their account, or they may change it, or
slurs, or whatever.
Change teams, but now they're no longer Matt Chapman Oak. They're now Matt Chapman NYY. Whoever.
Stop! Why do you gotta be? This is Christmas. I've been trying to be positive all damn month. Between you doing that and then Ivan talking smack about the McGuires and all this. It's like, come on, I'm trying to be nice all month, and you guys have to go and try to ruin it. But think about this. I mean,
feelings know it to be true.
I mean, Tim was the right age as well. 1988 score, which was so glorious on the front with the colors. but the backs were just amazing with what they offered us. And look at all the stats were so deep, and it was just like, whoa, this is the. In hindsight, we had Greg on there talking about 75 tops, which might be one of the most glorious and hideous releases of all time simultaneously. 88 score was the same. I mean, the fronts. Why did you have purple? I don't get it. You didn't need purple.
Does that make me the new Steph because I had a card right on demand like that?
You did.
Yes.
You did.
I Steph.
So I hate to tell you, but there can only be one.
And moving on to a lighter show. The great one to set a new world record from the Toronto Star, Wayne Gretzky is about to set another record, a mint condition 1979 O-Pee-Chee. Wayne Gretzky rookie is expected to become the first hockey's first $1 million US. They had to put that in a collectible card. It all goes according to plan of Heritage Auctions. Gretzky's card is one of 3,700 items that will be sold over 4 days by Heritage. The sports collectibles market appears to not only have withstood the ravages of the COVID economy, but possibly thrived because of it. Now, this is a great-looking card. We know that O-Pee-Chee, anybody who collected O-Pee-Chee in the 70s and 80s knows how awesome the cut and what kind of quality control they had back then. They're all hopped up on maple syrup and Canadian bacon up there. But this was also, again, one of the most counterfeited cards out there. So, buyer beware.
That's a fancy looking card. The article unfortunately only shows the front, and even then it's a crop like this.
There's a print dot on it, though. I can see the print dot.
Sure, on the jersey, yes, it's supposed to. Fancy looking back, and unlike most traditional, I mean, you can kind of see it along the sides here, where it kind of juts in and out, back and forth.
So how is it 10?
Because compared to others, that's
so it doesn't matter. But they're not. They can't. You can't listen. Again, this is why grading is stupid. Because listen, if they go, we know this is a shitty year for cards. We're going to grade it on a curve because we know 79 O-Pee-Chee is not nice, but we know that 96 O-Pee-Chee is perfectly. A 10 is a 10 is a 10. It's a perfect example of the card. Now, if there's imperfection because it was a bad printing year, it doesn't matter. Then none of those cards get a 10. Therefore, it should be an 8 or a 9, right?
Well, but how did you pass high school chemistry?
I didn't.
You on a curve.
No, I cheated my way through.
Were you guys tagged in that Twitter conversation we were having a while back when I posted, speaking of 88 score, the Conseco that was off-centered, but it was graded a 10 or whatever, and so you got a lot of the people are like, who would grade that anyway? And it was like, but it was like a 40-60 centering, and somebody's like, no, that can still grade as a 10 because they allow a plus or minus. It doesn't have to be 50-50. And he showed me like the screenshot from PSA or BGS, I can't remember which one, where it's like, we allow a little bit of play. It's like, it's either perfectly centered or it's not.
Right there.
So yeah.
It's a wrong year, but it's a perfect example of O-Pee-Chee. There's no border here, and it's off-cut on the top right.
Yeah, it's so like, hey, that's cool. It could be sharp cornered. It could have a great surface. It could have a great background. So it could be 10, 10, 10, but then the centering on that is a 6, a 4.
So I like, guys.
There's no plus or minus. A 45-55 is not a 10. Sorry.
Thank you. I don't care if it was a bad printing year because, the guy lost an eye out curling. Right?
Then hire somebody else.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. I told you anyone's talking about grading, but good Lord, there we go. Ding, 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 ding. At trade buy sell on Twitter, unacceptable Panini America. $1,000 plus box of Prizm came like this. Okay, so this was the first off the line box of Prizm football.
Retail packs didn't look this horrible.
There were at least, I counted 10 like really destroyed cards. Maybe a couple others that weren't so bad, but corners bent to bejesus. The box currently sells for $1,500, and you're telling me that a good 10% of the box is damaged?
I count 16 with a ding.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
Yeah. Like first of all, I wouldn't spend $1,000 on a hobby box of football cards, but unless they were nothing but like Jerry Rice and Joe Montana rookie cards. So, not great, not great. I'm just going to add this. We're going to roll this all together. 2020 Prizm Football at Brad Loves RNG tweeted out, I've watched about 6 to 7 hours of Prizm breaks today, and I've not seen one silver Herbert, Burrow, or Tua. Good luck out there. So your chances of pulling one of these three rookie quarterbacks are 0.005% because there are 2 silvers per box. It's a 400 card base set. If there's perfect correlation in the silvers and you had 200 boxes, you would get one of each card. It would take you 200 boxes. That cost you at $1,000, which they're going for more than that right now, $200,000 for the mathematic chances to pull this card. A Tua right now is going for $400 to $500 or $500 to $600. A Herbert silver is going for $650 to $750, and a Burrow is going for $700 to $900. Even if you were lucky and pulled all 3 of them out, that's not even $3,000 of the cards yet. You spent $200,000 to get them.
Math is hard.
Yeah.
People. I mean, we saw with Finest Flashbacks, and what was the MSRP? It was like $53 or something, Tim.
Yeah.
So and then they were flipped for like $400 or whatever, and
$350 to $400. Yeah, I did mine off secondary market. I did person to person deal. So I sold it for less because I had no fees. But yeah, I sold mine for like $325, $350 a box.
So in that initial offering window, right? Let's say the first 7 days of this product going live, the Robert was selling for $200, and you were not obviously going to be guaranteed one per box. And if you're spending that kind of money, you're paying $400. It's like, all right, you bought 2 boxes at say $700. You have to pull a Robert out of both. In order to get $400. Now you're still upside down $300. And I don't remember how many cards were in the box, but even at $1 a piece, I remember trying to do the math, and I was just like, whoa. If you pull both Roberts and you get max value at $200 each, you literally are going to have to sell everything. And your break-even point, again, these boxes are made to be worth $54. If you paid $54, maybe say $65, shipped to your front door, and you pull a Robert for $200, that's a great pull. Because now I can sell that and get my money back and then some. And let's say I bought 3 boxes, that one card literally paid for my entire haul. Everything else I get is either free money if I want to sell it, or it's free to me if I want to keep it.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that. We were ripping Chronicle blasters because people are paying $80, and it's like, dude, it's $7 to $10 worth of product in a $20 blaster box, and you're paying.
No one's spending $20 to get $7 to $10. That's fine.
Because you don't know what you're gonna get, man. $10 is in the fun of getting into my car and eating my Target pretzel and my soda and ripping it in the parking lot.
But my thing is you look back, these Prizm boxes pre-order were $122. Okay, so even if the hobby store, your hobby shop can make $50 to say even $100 on the box, and say it was a $200 box, right? That's not a terrible price for a premium product like Prizm's become. It carries something. Prizm is, if you want a rookie card of a guy in football or basketball, you want the Prizm rookie card. Like that's the gold standard, right? And so you don't feel too bad about doing that. You're getting 12 packs and whatever. But when you're paying 5 times that, and you're getting 2 rookies a box, so the rookie cards are $100 or like. It's not a smart. I mean, go ahead and buy it all you want. The return on it is going to be devastating to you because unless you hit the perfect box. I went and I watched some breaks, and guys were getting the autos were defensive players. They were offensive players that were free agents or were late round picks. The rookie cards were get here or there. But unless you get one of those 3 quarterbacks, even Jalen Hurts now, that's getting a chance to start, you're kind of SOL real quick, especially it's been $1,000. Oh,
Well, and speaking of box odds, it's rough. Basketball's a little better, I've seen, but that's rough. I mean,
not going to win.
Everyone wants the silver, and maybe that makes people chase the base or the green or the red, white, blues more so than just the silver. I never really understood the obsession with getting just the refractor edition instead of a number to 25. But it's nuts. If you can even find it, which I mean, thankfully, and again, wrong sport, but Angela lucked out and found NBA Prizm. Now, yeah, sure, these are fancy looking cards, and we kept some unopened to rip during the season. But easily, these could all be defensive end players, and nobody's kickers, instead of who they are.
Well, unless you got Therese Halliburton, and we know he's gonna be a star.
And then there's these guys.
Your autographs. Hey, at least you got autographs, though, right? Like,
indeed.
So, anyway, I want to know if this is a joke. So, at Baseball Card Exchange tweeted out, this was yesterday, 2 days of Christmas, Day 5, or 12 days of Christmas, Day 5, starting today, 12/8, only $89, 2 boxes of 1987 Topps baseball, unopened wax boxes from a sealed case. 2 boxes, 87 Topps for $90. It's got your fancy wrapping on there.
I've definitely ripped these for $5 each.
Yeah, I got like half a case up here behind me unopened.
Not to mention being from BBCE. Now they in this case they actually do mention they came from an unopened case. However, if you have enough packs in a box, they'll say that it's a box,
full box. They also today listed $89.90 hoops, 2 boxes for was like $120. By the way, March 26th, I opened 2 boxes of that I paid, I think, $30 for, both of the boxes, and $130. There you go. So $100 more than what I paid. March 26th, I posted the video on our YouTube page. So if you want to see what's in there, go check it out. Not a lot of special stuff in there. David Robinson rookies.
Yeah, two or three David Robinson rookies, but that was about it.
Yeah, and some Jordans, and then there's a couple other, KJ. There's a couple other guys, Hornacek, that have rookies in there, but not like I'm not going to be retiring on rookie cards in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, right, Ben, this is a joke, right? Like, this is fake. This is a fake. This is a burner account.
You would hope so. I mean, but
how many? It's not.
How many times on Facebook, and I know it's a different beast over there, do you see stupid stuff or offer up, right? I offered a guy $250 for a couple of Canseco Maguire 87s that he had listed 10 miles up the road for $10, and he goes, "That's 25% of the listing price." I was like, "But yeah, if you would have known what they were worth on the market, it's 100% of what they're worth."
You can list it for whatever you want, brother.
Yeah,
but
I'm telling you,
what you're going to get.
I'm giving you 100% of market worth, and I got to drive my ass there 10 miles round trip and probably shake your hand or some stupid thing. $250 is a fair offer, but hey, look, it goes back to this: either buy it or don't buy it. You don't want to buy it. Just make a smart decision.
I just thought it was funny, man.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw that too, I was like, dude, hey, if somebody wants to. Maybe there's something that we don't know yet. Maybe there's some.
Oh yeah, I got 2 5,000 count boxes over here that maybe I haven't looked at a million times as a kid.
Maybe you're a millionaire and you don't know it based on this guy's valuation. I swear, there's so many times I look on Facebook or offer up and stuff, and I'm just like, man, I am so rich. It's not even. I mean, it's not even fair.
How rich am I now?
Yeah, I'm saying
it's not the silver autograph edition, so it's worthless.
2030s.
Okay. For 1989 Fleer, a single cello pack, what would you pay?
a cello pack, so it's the thicker. There's more
Like
cards to it.
36 card, 3 sticker.
$2 to $3,
You would.
or maybe even $5 if I could see one of the players on there. Yeah, that's not bad.
Because I've definitely bought these for 50 cents each.
Yeah, but the chance of getting an F-face card in there or a Griffey.
Because I'm a pack rat, I actually have one that's still in the cello of the 36 cards with the Ripken and a penny sleeve.
Nice.
Because what else are you going to do with it?
Yeah. 2030s at Stunningham DMC, which I love that. His name is Cuttingham and he went Stunningham. I think that's cool. Biggest hit of my life. And I did not link the tweet. Sorry. It is a 2020 National Treasures Baseball Decades booklet, and has Adley Rushman, Bobby Witt Jr., J.J. Bleday, Joey Bart, Victor Mason, and Wander Franco. It's an autograph, all sticker booklet, numbered out of 25. And some of the other booklets were guys that played in the 70s, the 80s, and some of the current stars today, kind of saying, hey, this is the next decade of guys. So that being said, as we're at 2020 now, this is 10 years in the future. Out of these 6 guys, will any of them actually have like a major impact in baseball? Will they be like the next superstar? Or are they just going to be names we know that are on teams? Or guys that were like, oh man, God, what happens if he would have made it?
I mean, I inevitably, 1 or 2 guys are going to stand out. But a lot of these guys are going to turn the way of your 90s busts. 2000s busts. I mean, you're going to have a Brian Taylor mixed in with Roy Halladay.
So who's your pick? Who's your pick out of these 6 guys to be like the biggest name?
Read them off again.
Rushman, Witt, Bleday, Bart, Mesa, Franco.
Okay, Mesa's Cuban, right, or is he Dominican?
I don't remember.
So he's seen a lot of
Victor Mesa. His brother's Victor Mesa Jr. So don't get him confused.
So a lot of the international players, especially, I think he's Dominican, but if I'm mistaken, Cuban. He's Cuban. A lot of the Cuban players, haven't really panned out, right? Puig, Cespedes. I mean, they've had some good seasons and whatnot. I mean, Abreu. But overall, there've been a lot of guys that have just flamed out.
Castillo.
A guy like Rushman, we've talked about him being Matt Wieters 2.0. Hey, that's not bad.
But it's not what he was supposed to be.
Well, that's because
Matt Wieters was supposed to be Buster Posey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, if you could guarantee first overall pick in your Baltimore, and it's like you could take this catcher who could be Wieters 2.0, guaranteed, would you take him? I mean, that's tough to pass up because for every, Rushman who could be Wieters, there's 10 guys who never panned out at the number 1 overall pick. So, for me, I would probably say I'd probably put my money on Bobby Witt Jr., although I don't think he's going to be a shortstop long term. I think he'll end up having to either move to third base or second base or maybe even, outfield position. But I would probably put my money in his camp if it was me betting.
I agree with you there. I mean, I think Franco's got the biggest star potential, but he plays in Tampa. He also, I think, has the biggest bust potential on this list.
Yeah,
I think the one guy we're not is J.J. Bleday. We have 2 Marlins on here in a Ray, so that's kind of scary. Bleday, I think, has the sneak ability to be the guy that's like, man, we overlooked him, even though I don't think he's that overlooked, but I think on this list he is. But it's just an interesting conversation to see because all these guys could be utility journeymen or never make it guys. We look back and go, man, those were 6 superstars prospects in 2020, and by 2030 they were out of baseball, and they're doing whatever now. So,
I mean, if you were looking at it, odds are one guy's going to be a star, not a superstar, but one guy's going to be a star. One guy's going to flame out due to injuries. 2 guys will probably be, above average major league players, right? Guys that stick around for 10 years. Mark Canna type comes to mind. And then you probably have 2 guys that are just kind of there.
DJ Surhoff.
Yeah, just kind of guys that dance around that might be 4A type players that have a couple good seasons maybe. But at the end of their career, you're like, oh, he played in parts of 8 seasons and had 2 really decent
Mediocre
years.
years.
Yeah, average guys. I mean, that's probably just looking at comps, right? That's probably what you're looking at with that group of 6. Which one is which? Who knows?
Has Topps jumped the shark yet? At Yanks Chick tweeted out. Her tweet was garbage pail kids Sapphire coming. What's your interest level? And I responded back like shark. Topps has jumped the shark. Like they've gone to the extreme now of having Sapphire garbage pail kids. Like that's where we are in this hobby in 2020.
Well, and the funny part was that I saw several people complaining that they couldn't get into the Montgomery collection to pre-order it, and that they would totally break this just because it's Sapphire, so that means it's worth money. And there were a few guys that were mocking it, asking, "Well, can someone put the crying Jordan face on the dude?" And I had some free time here, so as I find it, and tacked it on just because it is that kind of product. I mean,
I just
share on it.
Okay, when are we going to get Transcendent garbage pail kids? When's that coming out?
Well, I mean, so Transcendent being what, the $20,000-$30,000 box, whatnot. What are they going to even offer? A guaranteed original atomic atom bomb, whatever it is.
Who's going to sign, right?
Right.
Artist. I don't know, but I'm just saying. It's just like whatever. I just brought that up because I'm like, this is just. Saber.
I know.
Real quick, Tim, did you collect garbage pail kids in the 80s?
I had a handful for a couple of years. Yeah.
Okay. I still have quite a few out. The original, a couple of original series ones out in the garage. I bought Bentley a blaster for Christmas of whatever the new release was. Green box. I think it'll be fun for him to throw in his binder. Might be a fun. I bought Heather a couple years ago the horror story one because it played on a lot of the famous villains from all of the different movies. So it's fun to rip. It's fun to collect once in a while. I'm sure there are probably diehard guys out there that are buying all the Trump and Biden ones that are online, daily exclusives. But yeah, I mean, hey, more power to them. If they can push that product and try to get more people involved, and right now would be the definite time to do it because people like Greg said earlier on the show, right? People don't even know what they're buying at this point. They're just buying it because it's available. You got money? Well, it's in your face.
I know that, and speaking to buying money, buying things just because it's available. I know that we cover a lot of new products, and this week, next week, last week. Had we made a note on Brooklyn Collection coming out?
No, but the cards are glorious.
Yeah, I was going to talk about
the show, and someone had mentioned that they broke a box, and that is possibly the fanciest looking card I've seen this year.
Yeah, the autos are phenomenal. I've seen a couple of them, just in my A searches. Yeah, I'm digging the Brooklyn autos right now. I mean, they are really, really nice. I'm looking right now to Lizardo. Blue bordered with the green pops off of it. I mean, it's nice. The colored parallels are fantastic as well.
Yeah, maybe we'll put that on next week. Saber 50 at 50 baseball cards. So as part of Saber 50 at 50 project, to commemorate the organization's 50th anniversary, the Saber Baseball Card Committee offers 50 cards for the past 50 years. This isn't ranking or even a list of the best card for each year, but rather a look at the hobby as it's changed over the past 5 decades and the way the history of baseball has been reflected in cards over that same time. We invite you to read the list and short description for each of the cards. Click on the title to read the stories from Saber Baseball Card blogs, the Saber Bio Project, or other baseball authors about these cards or players pictured in them. The list was compiled by Nick Vosbrink and Jason Schwartz, and we were going to cover this more in depth next week with Nick, as he will be our guest. But obviously, the '83 Donruss Action All-Star George Brett, yeah. Love that.
Well, and I like that again. It's not the top player necessarily for that year. It's something that this changed the hobby or the sport. In Kirk Flood's case,
Or this was just an interesting card.
It really stands out and it's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, so this was a really. I just kind of breezed through the list early on, and I didn't read all the descriptions. I just kind of looked at the cards they pictured, but definitely check it out. We're going to cover this more in depth next week with Nick, as he'll be our guest on the show. So Durant is in the sports cards at Sportico.
Just own them.
Yeah, put out an article. Kevin Durant paired with a pair of FanDuel co-founders are among those going in on 2020 sports card boom via a seed round investment in card stock marketplace StarStock. Investors Jeremy Levine and AJ Vanderchuk. Does that name sound familiar? It's Gary's little brother, as well as I don't know if he's a little brother, but his brother, as well as basketball player Matthew Dellavedova, also joined the $1.3 million raise. Founded in November of 2019, StarStock currently has nearly 200,000 cards for sale and centralized storage facility allowing users to buy and sell cards to sell rights to cards without having to deal with shipping. Individuals are able to mail parts of their collection to StarStock and have purchase cards sent from the company. StarStock takes a 5% fee from the sellers. Many transactions are made for cards worth less than $10, but some deals have stretched into the thousands of dollars. They deal typically just with rookie cards, but very interesting market. I haven't checked out the site or not, but it's interesting to see that Durant's dropping some money into this. But I guess to him, it's like lunch. So, but it's very interesting. Check out my cards. Tweeted out had an interesting tweet, a question. How do you feel about the RC rookie label that is added to rookie cards? Is it necessary? Would it be okay if manufacturers stopped using it?
So I know that
quick round answers, lightning round answers, guys. Go.
I do know that the inclusion was supposed to be the huge thing that separated the last super major change in the hobby, the 2005, 2006, 2007, somewhere in there, that was supposed to indicate that, yes, this is the one that you want. Yes, this is the one that you want. But, I mean, is it really necessary now when there's 30,000 sets being released and even doubling more so in cards?
Do you want it, yes or no?
I don't see it necessary. It's nice just for continuation purposes.
Benjamin.
You need it, but there's one caveat. You have to have it on one card and one card alone. It's got to be on flagship, and it's got to be popular or widely accepted as that is Kyle Lewis's rookie card, the one that we're currently looking on screen. Period. End of discussion. Everything else that comes out this year does not get the rookie card logo.
But it's his rookie card year, so why wouldn't it be his rookie card?
Because if you're going to use the logo, otherwise you're just going to saturate. You're just going to bastardize the logo.
So real quick,
what about the rookie
87
debut?
Donruss or 87 Topps? Which one's his rookie?
Well, it'd be Topps because that's the flagship.
When Donruss is its own company.
It doesn't mean it doesn't mean the Donruss isn't a rookie card as well. They could all be XRCs.
But it's his rookie year. That XRC in it before he was a rookie.
No, it's all rookie cards then, right? No,
so why can't it have a logo?
A PRC would be your pre-rookie card, right? That would be your Bowman drafts type stuff, your Olympic subsets, stuff like that. That's your PRC. Okay. Your XRC would be anything that comes out in their rookie year, any 2020 Kyle Lewis's that are not Series 1, Series 2, or update, depending on which one he's featured in.
But what if he's not in that? What if he's in Archive? That's the only rookie he had.
See, and that's where it gets so convoluted, and that's where the rookie card logo is watered down, because if the three of us sitting here, just the three of us, if we were the three that were tasked with, you three have to unanimously agree I don't think we would come to a unanimous conclusion. So how the hell could you expect 10 million people in the hobby to say, yeah,
it's in there, you leave it. It doesn't, all the cards that are
doesn't hurt anything.
Well, and to that specific case, I think that if a player is only in Archives or Heritage, there's a lot that these companies can do to kill some of the bloat. I mean, Bartolo Colon aside, there's a lot in Update that in a normal year could have easily been chopped out and placed in with extra rookies here. Or do we really need the rookie debut when we have Baseball Card Reference to look up some guys' first appearance in a game? No. Well, hey, there's an extra 10, 15, 20 guys that you can toss in. Now, sure, they may be Kyle Lewis or they might be Mike Trout, but they might also be an Oakland A.
We tweeted out about the card's handle last week. What is your favorite design of the 70s? It was cool because Tops liked it, and I think they even might have reached. Yeah. But 72 and 74 got a lot of comments. A lot of likes. They had a lot of love.
Mm-hmm.
So, my favorite's 75, and it's not because of the Brett. It's because the way the card says 1970s to me.
Sure.
That's my favorite set of even over my birth year of 79, which I think is kind of a okay design. But 75, 72 have probably the most 1970s looks to it. But what would you guys go with?
Well, so being the one of the three of us not born in the 70s, I kind of agree with something that Ben was trying to say, is that 1976 to 1976 or 1979 to 1970. These are really forgettable sets as far as design-wise go. Some of the photos are kind of poor. Sure, you have your Eddie Murray, which may be one of the nicer-looking cards in the decade. And I personally like the little character figures on 76.
Yeah, me too.
But photo-wise, design-wise, I love 73. 74 is a sweet design, kind of curvy. 72 is upheld for the Broadway opening show effect going on there. But I really like the post figure. I like that nothing really takes away from it. And there's some really nice photos in 73.
Yeah, if you look at 73 and 74... 73 and 74, both the photos are outlined with a thick border, which I thought was really cool. Just in 79 or 75 has that as well, where it's rounded around the card itself. So,
and I mean, that year in particular has possibly the nicest card of the decade for a non-star.
The only thing that would be better is if there was a drive-in movie theater in front of those cars,
or a drug deal going on in the background. Did that guy just not ever play because they're like, hey, these guys are out playing pickup baseball in White Sox uniforms?
Two things come to mind, right? The Shaft theme song, right? Wah, 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 wah. And also the line from Bad News Bears when they meet the Latino kids. We play baseball too. Does that not just speak to like a scene out of Bad News Bears?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, their height aside, this almost just screams Little League.
It does. Yeah. It looks completely generic, like on the back. I mean, that's a Sandlot card,
right?
I mean that's glorious, man. I got four thoughts. 71 is the cleanest design of that group. If you can find them in mint condition, the 71 O-Peaches can go to hell. They're hella expensive. 75 is probably the most glorious and iconic of the group, and maybe that's just because also Brett and Yount are two of the more iconic rookies from
Jim
the
Rice
70s.
Is in there.
Love
Schmidt,
the
Reggie Jackson. I mean, then you have the mini parallel set. 74 is the best design, and you had the Washington Padres, and you had the Tops Traded subset, which is phenomenal. And then 76 through 79 can go to hell. All of those sets are hideous. It's like Tops gave up after 1975, and then they rebounded and totally redeemed themselves in 1980.
Well, the one thing I'd say is 76, I like the bottom, what's that, like the bottom sixth of the card. where they have the player position, the little guy, and then the name and the team. I think that is a very clean. It looks very good, but the rest of the card's really boring.
What's the difference between that and 79? They look damn near the same. I mean,
I know, but I'm saying I like 76 better than I like the 79 because I like the little figure.
Well, who did it better, 73 or 76?
I like them both. I don't know.
73 is just too generic to me, but
we're gonna send out 19 guys. You want to do? I have the 50s and the 60s. Which one do you want me to send out first?
I'd do 60s. Go backwards.
60s. Okay. I mean, I actually labeled the years on the 50s and the 60s so people didn't get that because we're starting to go way back machine here.
Did you include 51 tops or no?
I just did 52 through 59.
Because we were talking the other day about how underrated the 51 red and blue backs were.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I did that just because for aesthetic reasons it was 8 versus having 9. So I could change it if you want. I was just curious because
I think there's a lot of people that and I think Clearly Authentic brought it back this year. That playing card style. Yeah. 51 blue backs and red backs are highly underrated. And I think if you're a vintage collector, that's definitely should be, something you should be pursuing.
Those might be the only New York Giant cards I decided to go after.
They're
the 50 ones. So,
and it's only like a 50 card set, right, Steph? I think they did 25 and 25.
52, yeah.
Playing cards. Remember, right? Guys, any final thoughts before we head out tonight?
I would just want to say a good night to Haley. You're probably up past your bedtime, keeping your dad up, but good night, young lady, from the guys here at About the Cards.
Absolutely.
And next week, Nick Bosbrink will be on the show, and also other coming up. We broke the news last week during the show. Chris Torres will be on January 13th to talk Project 2020. So we're going to get a bunch of polls and stuff out between now and then, probably at the beginning of the very end of the year. And leading up to him coming on the show about favorite card, favorite artist, favorite series, like which artist did the best card of all 20, that kind of fun stuff. Remember, live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific.
10
Make sure to subscribe and review our show on all platforms. Follow us on Twitter About the Cards. Follow Ben at Our Trading Cards. Follow Steph at Junk Wax Twins. Follow me at Big Chef 79. Please share your hobby stories, great polls, and keep sending your questions our way. Keep collecting, and we will see you all next week.